I only accepted being a victim of society because it wasn't always easy keeping God living inside of me. Especially when the devil kept walking beside of me, whispering in my ear I'm of a different biology. And whenever I gazed into astrology, looking down upon God and screaming my apology. So my name is Luis Marrero. I am a poet and I'm a creator and an influencer in the city of Philadelphia. And I just do things that make people happy and that make me happy and that spread love. When I was a kid, I used to write short stories, draw and illustrate different things to give to my mom to read. And then I began to write raps. And then I realized I didn't have any bars or flow or none of that. So I started to turn it into more of a spoken word, a storytelling, just words rhyming as I tell whatever I was going through at the time. I did my first performance in 2009 and the crowd's reaction was beautiful. The way that they grabbed the words that I was saying was like the trigger moment of like, I want to perform poetry now. It wasn't just good enough for myself and my piece of paper, but I was definitely angry, lost. I thought the world was against me all the time. I like to play victim a lot. I was always an angry kid. Always felt lost and alone. And even though I was surrounded by a lot of people, the beginning of 2015, I started to lose a lot of things that I felt were important, a lot of monetary things, a lot of people. It really brought me to a low stage in my life. There was a day I was sitting on my bed and out of nowhere, I just began to cry. There was nothing wrong, I guess, in a sense. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything. My system just wouldn't stop crying, and I didn't know what was happening. And at the end of it, it was like the war was happening, and then it was just like that silence. And that's the first moment that I really felt God, but didn't know that it was God. I just felt this peace. I didn't know, but I just had faith everything is gonna be okay. So I started to kind of find myself and try to learn a little bit more about myself. And I met an artist at one of my events. There was something about it that gravitated me towards her. So we began to speak, connected a little bit. I featured her at my events. We grew from there. She's an artist, in the church. It's not like she came to me hey, follow Jesus. Do you know Jesus? Love Jesus. She didn't approach me that way because you can't always approach people like that. She found a similar interest that we had, which was, the form of art, which was, performance. So that's what we focused on. And she was just genuinely such a good and happy and loving person. And she was so all about me that, without even knowing, she was just giving me God, without blatantly, throwing it in my face. It just makes it a lot easier to just be open, and it allows for the conversation of God to enter without being forced. She made me feel comfortable enough to trust her, to give her my hand and lead me to God. And then she invited me to feature at her event, invited me to come to her church. The first day that I attended the church in Philly was when I decided to follow Jesus. And from that moment on, it's just been amazing. I'm still new, still learning, but my love and my just everything to find out, everything that God is about, everything that Jesus did and went through for us. So if she would have never left her church to come and to perform in a place where some people in the church may feel it's just not an okay thing, I would have never been where I am now. When you eat good pizza, the first thing you do is you tell people, you tell someone, you gotta check out this pizza over here on the corner of such and such. You tell people when something is good. No one wants to take something good and hold it to themselves. Whether you follow Jesus or you don't, whenever something good happens, people share it. So Jesus is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So if I'm sharing news about good pizza, I feel like it's only right to share the amazingness that God provides. I was like, after I found Jesus, after I really started to understand, God and his ways, I've realized that he's been here my entire life. And there were situations that happened that may have seemed bad, but there was always something beautiful on the other end of that dark hallway. So right now I'm in that beginning stage, and I'm hoping that I just keep this hunger and just that feeling of just feeling alive through that, and just continue to push forward. So now is like the first time that I've ever really like known my place, my purpose in life. So I'm excited to figure out what else can happen, because I'm addicted right now. So I'm just excited to see what else happens that can just pull me even more in. It's pretty dope.